Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shot Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Tuesday, January 16th, 2024. Now, if you like what you see, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comment section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, including my college basketball bank shot best bet, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. Alrighty, let's get into it. Here are the games for Tuesday in college hoops. First up, we see Butler and Xavier. This one's going to be 6:30 Eastern. It's going to be on Fox Sports 1. We've talked a lot about Xavier hoops this season. Have done pretty well in their games this year. This is a spot where I'm fading Xavier. This is a classic letdown spot for the Musketeers after beating Providence on the road, an upset win and a blowout win by 20 points, 85-65. But before that, Xavier had lost 3 of its previous 4 games, so they still have a losing record so far in conference play. And while I think the Xavier, obviously really well-coached team by Sean Miller and a great defensive structure, the offense is where I have my concerns. They take a lot of tough shots. They rely on a lot of mid-range jumpers, and they're ranked 216th in effective field goal percentage. Not a great shooting team. They are a pretty good offensive rebounding team, but I just don't think it's enough in this game. Butler is, while they're not up to a great start to conference play this year, and, they've lost 4 of the last 5, I still think when you look at the roster and you look at the offense, top 50 in adjusted offensive efficiency, they take care of the basketball. They're a really good free throw shooting team, and they got an experienced backcourt led by Pasha Alexander. I think that Butler is still a team to not give up on in the conference, in the Big East Conference, and in a game like this, I think this is a winnable game. At least, a game where they can cover the number, getting a good amount of points. So give me the points here with the Bulldogs on the road. I'm going to take Butler. Next up, we see Syracuse and Pittsburgh. This one's going to be a 7 p.m. Eastern start time. It's going to be on ESPN2. I don't know if I can trust Syracuse away from the Carrier Dome right now. This team is, in the last 2 true road games against Duke and North Carolina, granted, 2 very good teams, they were absolute blowout losses, 86-66 against Duke, and then 103-67 last time out against North Carolina. Really just not competitive games at all. Yes, we saw Syracuse beat Boston College and beat Pittsburgh at the Carrier Dome in their last 2 home games. But, it's a much different story away from the Dome. This is a team that has a great home court advantage, but don't love them away from home. And, Pittsburgh playing with revenge, obviously, from that loss to Syracuse not too long ago. But they also have a big fundamental advantage on the glass in this game where, Pittsburgh's a top 60 rebounding team on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive rebounding percentage. And Syracuse has really struggled in the glass this year. Their front court's not as strong, in my opinion. And just the way that they play defensively, they are susceptible to giving up a lot of offensive rebounds. They're ranked 295th in defensive rebounding percentage. Now, the Syracuse defense is really aggressive. They force a good amount of turnovers, but Pittsburgh does a great job at taking care of the basketball. They're top 25 in turnover percentage offensively. So, to me, this is actually a really good matchup for Pittsburgh. Playing with revenge, playing at home, Syracuse on the road. I got to like the Panthers' chances to get that revenge victory. So, give me the Pittsburgh Panthers. I'm going to lay the points. Next up, we'll go to the Big 12 as Iowa State takes on BYU. This one's going to be 9 p.m. Eastern. It's going to be on ESPN+. This should be a great game, entertainment-wise. This is 2 really strong defensive teams. Iowa State number 2 in the country in adjusted defensive efficiency. BYU number 7. But Iowa State's defense as of late, just so impressive. You hold Houston to 53 points in that upset victory, 57-53. Really exciting game there. And then you take care of business against Oklahoma State at home. You hold them to 42 points in a 66-42 victory. Iowa State, we hear a lot that defense travels. I believe it does. And Iowa State, number 1 in the country in forcing turnovers, good defensive rebounding team. They're top 10 in college hoops and 2-point field goal percentage defense. So BYU, while this is a great team and like I said, a defensive team as well, I worry about the offense a bit in this game, not because they don't create good looks and they're not, they do a good job of taking care of the ball. They're a good offensive rebounding team, great shooting team. However, they don't get to the free throw line enough, and I think that's going to hurt BYU as we continue this, in Big 12 play and, in postseason play. BYU only gets 11.7% of its points from the charity stripe. That's dead last in college basketball. And when you're playing a team like Iowa State that's going to force tough shots almost every, possession down the floor, I just think BYU's offense needs to be more 2-dimensional or 3-dimensional for it to have a lot of success in this game. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game, a close game, but I like Iowa State's chances in a close game late because of that free throw statistic. So give me Iowa State in this one. I'm going to take the points. Next up, we see UNLV taking on Boise State. This one's going to be a 10 p.m. Eastern start time. It's going to be on CBS Sports Network. Now, we took UNLV plus the points against New Mexico in their win on January 9th, a 10-point upset victory. And UNLV played really well in their next game against Utah State, one of the hottest teams in college basketball. UNLV only lost by 1 point, 87-86 at home. However, the Rebels are now on the road for this game, and you could consider it a letdown spot because even though they lost that game, it was a really exciting finish and, back-to-back really exciting games for the Rebels. But now on the road, we haven't seen them play too well this season. They have the win against Pepperdine. That's their only true road win. Their other game on the road against San Diego State, they failed to cover the number. And Boise State, you could argue, playing its best basketball of the year on a 4-game win streak, 3-0 to start conference play. They got the win over Colorado State. They got the win over Nevada, and they're home for this one. This is a Boise State team that I mentioned, before this win streak started. It's kind of flying under the radar. They're a really strong shot quality team on both ends of the court. Strong defensive rebounding team, and UNLV, not a very good offensive rebounding team. So we should expect the Rebels to be held to 1 shot per trip, almost for 40 minutes. And I don't think the UNLV is a good enough shooting team. While their effective field goal percentage is solid on paper, from 3-point range, right around 150th in the country, I don't think the Rebels make enough tough shots in this ball game to stick around or to compete. I think Boise State eventually runs away with it. So give me Boise State in this one. I'm going to lay the points. And the final game we're to talk about for the Tuesday card in college basketball, let's stay in the Mountain West as Utah State takes on New Mexico. This one's going to be a 10:30 Eastern start time. It's going to be on Fox Sports 1. There's not a lot of games on the board for Tuesday. There's, it's a decent card in terms of quantity, but the quality, a lot of great, entertaining matchups on paper for this Tuesday card. We're probably going to see that, most of the Tuesdays down the stretch in college basketball and conference play. But in this matchup, Utah State 16-1. They're on a 15-game win streak. Their only loss of the year was a true road game against Bradley, which is one of the better mid-major schools this year, and a top 100 team. So, no shame in that. That was an overtime game as well, and a close one. But, since that game, Utah State has ran the table. They're 4-0 now in conference play. However, they're going to the pit. And we've talked about the pit all season, this year with the Lobos, a team that I've faded a few times when they're playing on the road, but they are really tough to beat at home, and we saw that in the last game against San Diego State. We took New Mexico in that game on Saturday. We laid the points, and New Mexico, even though they were down 12, right around 5 minutes left in the first half, New Mexico was able to win it in the end by 18, 88-70, a blowout win for the Lobos, upset victory. And I think New Mexico is going to win this game and cover the number as well. A New Mexico team, it's fundamentally strong. They're a good rebounding team. Shot quality-wise, very strong team, and they have one of the best home court advantages in college basketball. You can expect, with Utah State, a ranked team coming to town, this is going to be a raucous atmosphere. And Utah State, while, they've handled business on the road, they have the road wins against UNLV, Air Force, Santa Clara, St. Louis. To me, none of those wins are outstanding. None of them are top 50, top 60, or even top 70 wins in terms of the KenPom rating. So this is going to be, you could argue, the toughest matchup of the season by far for Utah State this year. Got to go with New Mexico in this one at home. Too much of an advantage at the pit. And that's it. Those are the games for Tuesday in college basketball. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. And don't forget to put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets, you can find those at Pick Dawgz Premium. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.